Mama's here today. Welcome. We're glad you're here, Mom. So, we learned so much, and we just got so filled up, and there's so many people that came back just reinvigorated, just passion and excitement, and knowing for sure, believing in the vision that God has given us, knowing for sure that the best is yet to come. We have so many things that God is wanting to do, so many things that He's trying to accomplish, so many things that He wants us to accomplish in His name. God is doing big, big things, and He wants to use us, His servants. And everyone keeps talking about my mic. It's on. I don't know what's going on. So can't help you there. Can everybody hear me? As long as you can hear me, we're good to go. So I just want to say today, let me switch gears here a little bit because we've been talking about marriage, all right? We've been talking about marriage, and if you're single today, but you're dating somebody, not just single, but you're dating somebody, how many of you that are dating someone that's the opposite of who you are? I mean, they're complete opposites. I'm not talking about just like male, female. I'm talking about they are complete opposites from you. All right. Right now, you know if you're dating someone that's the complete opposite of you, opposites attract, right? Now, how many of you that are married to somebody that is the complete opposite of you? Now, when you're married, you know that when you were dating, opposites attract. But once you get married, opposites attack. It's all good when you're dating, but when you're married, those things that used to be so wonderful start really getting to you. And although in the beginning opposites attract, once you're married, opposites attack. The things, oh, he's so funny. He's so funny. He's always cracking jokes. He is so funny. And then you get married, and it's like, he is so obnoxious. He just won't stop. He just never stops. He never ever stops. Things like, she's so organized. She is so organized. And then you get married, and it's like, oh my God, she tries to control everything I do with her organization, telling me where to go, when to go. When you were dating, oh, he's so laid back and chill. He's just so awesome. He's just laid back. Married, he's lazy. What used to be laid back is now lazy. I know that Amy and I, we are definitely opposites, okay? I am, although I've shared before, I'm what's called an extroverted introvert. Through that extroverted part of my introverted personality, through that extroverted part, I'm a social butterfly. Now, men, don't make fun. I hate referring to myself as a butterfly, but we understand the term, social butterfly. I can talk to anybody at any time. Amy, on the other hand, she's a little different than me, as where I'm a social butterfly. She's more like a mama bear. And by a mama bear is a great thing. But you know, a mama bear in the wild, all she needs is babies. Mama bear, if she's got her baby, she's good to go. And as to where I'm all around with people, Amy could be perfectly fine with just her family and her baby. She loves her baby. She's a mama bear. For me, I have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of ideas, crazy ideas. I come up with some zany things. I heard it said one time, they were talking about another pastor, and they said, this dude is an idea's best friend. I was like, oh, that's kind of like me, you know. I'm like an idea's very best friend. Amy, on the other hand, as where I'm full of lots of ideas, she's always very full of ideas of why it won't work. So we're very opposite in that. Amy likes to, at times, late at night, have lots of conversations. Me, late at night, that's not where I was going, but I'll just leave that hanging. Listen, guys, we don't always agree on everything. But Pastor Joe has even said before, if you don't agree on everything, that's good. Because if you did agree on everything, one of you is not needed. If you agree on everything, one of you is not needed. So what Satan wants to do is to come into our marriages, into our relationships, and he wants to use the differences to create to build us up through our differences and allow us to work together because two have become one. So in this series, The Vow, we've talked about a few promises already. You remember the first week, if you were single, your promise was, I promise that I will seek my number one while preparing for my number two. That was your commitment and your promise. And we understand by that, number one is not the person you're looking for. Number one is God. He is number one in our lives. He has to be number one in our lives. If God is not number one in our lives, we will never be fulfilled in any single thing. So singles promise, I will seek my number one, God, while preparing for my number two. Those that are married, we promise that God will be our first priority and our spouse will be our second. We will not elevate our spouse above God. We will keep God in his proper place. Now, last week, what we talked about, for those that are married, we promised that we will always pursue. We won't let things get complacent. We won't let things get stagnant. We will always chase them. We will always do the things that we did in the very beginning. We will always chase them and love them, and we will be romantic and silly and do silly things. We all agreed last week we've done some stupid things for love, and we will keep on doing those things in our marriage until the day the Lord takes us home. But today, what I want us to promise is big. Today, what I want us to promise is that if we are married or when we get married, that our marriage will be about we. Everybody say that. I promise that my marriage will be about we, not me. Not me. It's not about me. It's about we. Why? Let's go back to our verse that we've looked at every single week so far. Genesis 2:24. It says, that is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife. And if you haven't been here, just as a reminder, God created man. He saw it was not good for man to be alone. He says man needs a helper because he's a knucklehead. So we got to give him woman. And so God created woman, and they are to join together. And that is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife. And it says they become one flesh. One flesh. Two that are now one. Two that are now one. There's still two fingers here, but they are joined together into one. The two have become one. And the Bible actually says that this one flesh, this is a great word here. I really like this word. I'm going to do my best to pronounce it properly, but it kind of makes me think of Jeff Dunham and one of his dummies. This word is echad. I don't know if I said that in proper Hebrew or not, but you got to get that like you're bringing something up out of your echad. It's echad, and that's one flesh, and it means completely joined. Completely joined. Now, before I really dig into this, I don't want to pretend like there's never been any divorces in this room. Okay? If you've ever been divorced, I know this is a very sensitive subject for you. I know that this can be a painful thing for you. But let me remind you that I also have been through a divorce. I understand. So as I share all of this is not about the things in the past that we cannot change. It's about where we are today, our present, and our future that God has in store for us. And we can have fulfilled marriages even through the pain of a bitter divorce in the past. Okay? So I just want to acknowledge that as we talk about this, because when two become one, there's a ripping away. There's a ripping away, and it's a painful thing. The Bible says in Matthew 19:4-6, this is Jesus speaking. It says, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. And you're probably going, well, Derek, I thought you just read that and said it was in Genesis. Well, if you didn't know, Jesus came to fulfill the law and the prophets, and oftentimes he spoke using Old Testament verses because the Old Testament still stands. The things that are there are still true. And so Jesus would speak those words. And so he says this, and then he adds, he says, so they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, no one separate. And yet, separations happen. Divorces run rampant. 50% of divorces, or of marriages in America, end in divorce. Divorce is a big deal. And a lot of that goes back to this statement here. How many of you ever heard someone say, well, come on, marriage is nothing but a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper. I love her. She loves me. We love God. We're happy as can be. We don't need a piece of paper to feel like we're joined together. Have you ever heard anybody say something like that? I hear it all the time. Why should I get married? It's no big deal. It's just a piece of paper. And the truth of that statement is because of our belief that marriage is nothing more than a contract. The thing with the contract is that a contract is based on mutual distrust. But marriage is not a contract based on mutual distrust. Marriage is a covenant. It's not a contract. It's a covenant, not a contract. And so a contract being based on mutual distrust, it's about if you do your part, I'll do my part. And what's big in that statement? If you do your part, I'll do my part. If. That's exactly right. If you do what you're supposed to do in this marriage, then I will do. Cause and effect. If. But that's not what the Bible tells us. It's not about if. It's not like that. See, a contract, any of you ever bought a new car, you financed the car, you had to finance the car. All right, maybe not new, but you financed a car from Carmart or wherever. When you do, you know they break out a clipboard about like that, a little bit bigger, and it's got a contract on it. And you sign the contract. You initial in certain spots, this, and this. I will do this, I will do this. My payment will be here by the 7th of every month, and these things, and you initial off, and then you sign the contract. And the thing on the contract is, it's about, they're saying, if you don't pay me, better tell your dog that somebody's coming in the middle of the night, don't eat them because we're going to take your car. We're going to repossess that joker. Because, frankly, we don't trust you to pay us. So we need legal recourse to make sure that you will pay us. That's what a contract is, and it's all about distrust. It's not, I'll buy a car on the word of my mouth and oh, handshake. It's a contract. That's how we treat marriage. If you'll do this, then I'll do that. And if not, we have legal recourse. We can end this thing. We can make this contract null and void. That's not what marriage is. Marriage is a covenant, and a covenant is not built on distrust. A covenant is based on mutual covenant. Covenant is the foundation. It has began the restoration of mine and Amy's marriage. Covenant. I shared. I let everyone know that Amy and I had been separated, not seeking a divorce, because we're in a covenant marriage. Two have become one flesh. So we had separated, seeking restoration in our marriage, because we know that our marriage is not a legal document that binds us together. It is two souls intermingled with God in the mix, man, woman, and God. All of us joined together. Two have become one. And on that principle, the road we wanted to go down was not like the road of the world, where we just say, you know what, I'll take my ball and go home. That's not the road we wanted to go down, because we said, I do. And when we said, I do, we meant that we will. All of the times. I know that song. I'm probably a little off key.
I don't remember sounding like that.
Well, that's because I'm a prison singer, you see. I'm always behind a few bars, and I can never find the right key. It just happens. You got to bear with me there. And Haley said, amen. Listen, guys, a covenant, the Hebrew word here for covenant is berit. It means a cutting, a binding agreement. Blood covenant. And in the old days, when people would get married, see how my hands are? What would happen is that they would cut their hands. They would get a knife and they would cut their hands. And then they would put their hands together and the blood would intermingle and they would actually wrap their hands together. This was two lives because the Bible tells us in Exodus that the life is in our blood. Our life is in our blood. And so it's the intermingling of lives together. Sort of like the unity candle we see so often at a wedding ceremony, or the unity sand where it intermingles together. How many of you are glad that now we use candles and sand instead of slitting our hands and putting them together? That they would put their hands together, and there was this shedding of blood. Even outside of marriage back then, any covenant always required the shedding of blood. If they made an agreement, there was a covenant, they would cut a bull in half, and they would walk through its blood 7 times, saying that we are now in a covenant. And covenants always require blood. In the Old Testament, the payment of sin because of the covenant was the slaying of a lamb. And that blood joined us with God. Well, now, under the new covenant, the ultimate lamb, Jesus Christ, gave his life. In the new covenant, we are sealed by the Holy Spirit and covered in the blood of Jesus. There's been a shedding of blood. Going back to marriage, this is something that I discovered last year. And it's really one of those things that it's just like, wow, our God. I mean, the song we just sang, So Will I, and how he breathes stars and he creates everything. And he creates everything so perfectly. When God made man and woman, this is the most beautiful thing. Beautiful. In a world that's not gone awry. In a world that's not full of sin. In a perfect world, the man remains pure, a virgin, until the day of his wedding. And the woman does too. She does not sleep with anybody until the day of her marriage. And then there would be the joining together of the blood in their hands. They would have their wedding celebration. And then they would go behind the closed doors to consummate the marriage in a perfect world. God designed our bodies for the marriage covenant. That is a beautiful, beautiful. The reason I share this, I know for some of us we missed out on that. I said wait. For some of you, you haven't missed out. Don't miss. In our lives, man, I'm telling you, things like nowadays, don't understand that through joining together. We don't understand that the Bible says that even if we join ourselves together with a prostitute, we've perverted sexual intimacy, and we've forgotten what God designed it for. A beautiful thing between a husband and wife. We've forgotten that. We've strayed so far. And nowadays, what happens is people will say stuff like, you gotta drive before you buy it. You gotta drive the car. You gotta take her for a test drive. Gotta have a little spin to make sure. And that is so wrong, because what happens when you do that? See, sexual intimacy is reserved for the marital bed. And anytime you get in a relationship with somebody and you start doing these things that only married people are supposed to do, you get in this relationship and maybe move in together, have your 2 toothbrushes, and you're living together, and you're not yet married, and then things go sour. And so since you've been doing married things, practicing marriage, then basically what you're doing, setting yourself up for failure the rest of your life, is when you break up. Since you've been practicing marriage, when you break up, you're now practicing divorce. And we know that practice makes perfect. So if we keep practicing divorce, we're going to get really good at it. And I believe that's so much of the problem in the world that we live in today. People practice marriage, and they practice divorce, and they end up when they really get up in. Amy and I, we know that in our marriage, we're all in. We are all in. Rich or poor. Usually it's been poor, but rich or poor, sickness and in health, better or for worse, till death do us part, because we are all the way in, and our covenant is a mutual commitment. Now, here's the thing with mutual commitment. In marriage is it's 50-50, right? That's right. That is right, Mandy. That is right. It is not 50-50. It's 100%. You're all the way in both sides. 50-50 is, well, this is hers, this is mine, but 100% is this is ours. This is we together on this. This is our life joined together. It's no longer just my life. It is our life. Even our bodies, the Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, the body is not even ours anymore. My body, y'all, doesn't it body? This is not just mine. My body belongs to my wife. I am hers, and she is mine. I love that, because I love her body. It's mine. She is mine. We are in all the way, 100% in everything we have. It is our home, our cars, our bank account, our children, our dogs. I don't have a single possession that I own that has a legal contract title. I don't have a single possession I own. I don't have any account that does not have mine, her. 100%, not 50-50, 100% all the way in. So last night, understanding this covenant thing and what a covenant looks like. Last night, Bella and Nash and Amy as well, but as she tends to do during movies when we start watching them fairly late, it wasn't long before she was snoozing. She doesn't really snore, y'all. I'm sorry, don't kill me. She doesn't really, but she falls asleep during movies. But we sit down, and my daughter is 7, my son is 3. We sit down and watch The Passion of Christ. That movie, I've never watched it. It moved me to tears. Last night, watching my God, and sing. He went through that. It's never hit me as hard as it did. Maybe it's because of all the pain that's taken place. See what he did. You know what? My fault. He did that for me. Yes, he did it for you too, but you see, I know that Jesus gave his life for me. Everybody say right now, Jesus gave his life for me.
Jesus gave his life for me.
He did. And when I watched it, it did that to him. Me and Bella both cried. Nash was, gosh. Bella and I, we just were falling. Snuggled up tight, both of us, like 7-year-olds. We were crying and watching this. Of course, at the end, we know this, it's not a sad story. It's a story of hope, because Jesus rises from the grave. But man, you forget about that in the middle of the circumstances that are taking place where the pain is very real. You forget that there is hope, that Jesus is coming back, that he does return. You forget that, and seeing it, I kind of forgot, but then there was hope at the end. But during the movie, Jesus had a flashback. No greater love is this. And then he says, so as I have loved you, love each other. As I've loved you, love each other. Think of the love Jesus has for us, what he bore for us. This like, I love you and I'm willing to take this. Especially in marriage, since the very church itself. Church, us, so we should love one another. So what does that look like? When leadership, mutual. Godly leadership and mutual submission. And I know that some of my old school cats up in here are like, no, it says she's to submit to me. I'm the man. I'm the boss. You hear what I'm saying? She submits to me. Ain't no mutual submission. Well, in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21, right before it says, wives, submit to your husbands, right before that, it actually says, submit to what?
One another.
What?
One another.
Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ, whose very life was a picture of submission. Even from the cross, when he could have stopped it, Jesus knew what he had to do. He came and he lived a life on mission. And from the cross, Jesus submitted himself to the Father's will. And Jesus, from the cross, even said to those who persecuted him, "Hear them, Father, they know not what they do." It was interesting as I watched last night, and I watched how Jesus submitted to King Herod, how he submitted to Pontius Pilate. It's interesting when you watch the Passion of the Christ and you see where Caiaphas, the high priest, comes to the mountain where Jesus is crucified. And he's saying these things. And Jesus prays for him. And he's walking away. And we don't see this in the Bible, but it's the way Jesus would have been. As he's walking away, after having, Caiaphas led this. Caiaphas is the one that pushed for Jesus' crucifixion. And that is biblical. That is in the Bible. And as he's walking away, the thief that said to Jesus, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom," he says to Caiaphas, he says, "What's wrong with you? Don't you see that even now?" Jesus' life was a picture of submission. He submitted to worldly authorities, but ultimately he submitted to God the Father. He was so submitted. And you know, submission doesn't always come easy for everybody. Relationships. How many of you are naturally dominant and others are naturally passive? Naturally dominant, can I see your hand if you're naturally dominant? Naturally passive, can I see your hand? Now, if you had to look at your wife and ask which one, let me tell you right now, you're passive. Okay? That's just the way that works. If you had to ask, then you are the passive one. It's pretty obvious. People around me know that I'm kind of a bold guy. I'm very dominant. You better believe that I would be a complete stupid idiot not to submit to my wife, to Amy Spirit, when she speaks God's truth into my life. There are times where Amy has saved me, where there's been wolves trying to attack me, and I'm blinded because of my desire to just simply love people. And Amy says, "Stop! Hey, cray-cray. Guard yourself." And I would be an idiot not to listen to her. We almost went to a building one time. We looked at another building. It was going to be our first location. And man, we were all in to go. I'm getting ready to go talk to the guy and sign a lease. And I look at Amy and she's standing there like this. God's telling me you better not. And so when Mama said, I was like, I know. I've got to trust that. Even though wives are supposed to submit to their husbands, see, we're supposed to submit for Christ. When she says, "Dishes need done," I'd be a fool not to make the kids do it. You know what I'm saying? Submission. Submission. And it's both of it. Godly leadership and mutual submission. Now I'm going to pick up in verse 22. It says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as you do to the Lord. For a husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior." Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands this has been taken so wrong so many times. And straighten your tails up. Yes, this is a specific verse saying that in a marriage, a wife has to submit to her husband's spiritual guidance, but still, we have to listen to what they say as well. We have to stand together when we're in this partnership. In our lives, in our marriages, at times, what happens since we're opposites and being opposites? What happens when we have a disagreement? Because disagreements happen, right? Has anyone ever been in any relationship where you don't have a disagreement? Disagreements happen. Why? Because we're not married to Jesus. That's why. Our people are not perfect. So when we get married, at times there can be disagreements. So what do we do? Well, if he's telling you, let's go rob a bank, and you're kind of in disagreement with that, well, I don't really know that I should be robbing a bank. How do you handle that? Well, you submit to God in that. Doesn't God also tell us to submit to the authorities? So if the authorities say it's illegal to rob a bank, then your husband is trying to lead you in a way that is not godly. So if he says, come on, let's go rob a bank, and y'all, I'm just going to tell y'all right now, the reason robbing a bank is fresh on my mind, I could have used a million illustrations, but the other day, Eric and I, we had to go count some coins for the Bologna coin drive, which, by the way, we make, the kids at Bologna raised over $1,300 for the Guatemala. Kindergartner through third grade with change, $1,300. Wow. But me, I got to go count these coins. And the first time I did it, my daughter Alyssa was there. She was such a wonderful helper, and it really takes two to count these coins. But she wasn't with me that day, and I saw Eric was at the church. And I said, hey, bro, can you meet me at the bank and help me? And of course, that's a confusing question. He's like, are we going to knock it off or something? I was like, no, man, we're going to count change, but it's good to know that he was going to ride or die, There for you. You're there for me. Just know, y'all have been belling to it. Listen, we're not married to Jesus, so we do have to learn to show grace. And we do have to honor our authority. Try to lead your spouse. And in that, you have to show grace. You have to show grace. And ladies, when you have a disagreement with your husband, because I know men can sometimes be very stupid, just in our nature, I can't believe no one said preach. Listen, even when you're right, if he's not wrong in God's eyes, now this is where we run into things. Ladies, what do you do in that situation when neither of you are wrong in God's eyes? What's it your job to be? Is it your job to be right, ladies? Guys, can you believe what they just said? Did y'all hear that? That's a miracle! I just heard a bunch of women say they don't have to be right. Wow! All right, y'all, don't stone me now. Listen, it's not your job to be right. It's your job to let him lead. Let him lead. He has to lead. God has put him in that place. And I know that sometimes, ladies, that can seem very unfair for you, but let me tell you, sometimes for us men, it's very unfair for us because y'all can be very cantankerous and don't want to submit. It's not easy trying to lead. When you lead in godly way, you know what happens. All the time. Your spouse can see God through you. They will submit. They will submit. Now, the Bible says in Ephesians 5:25, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church. He gave himself up for her. And you are called to lead. That is your responsibility. But you're to love her as Christ loved the church. That means sacrificially. Willing to lay down your life for her. Willing to die for her. And even though you're called to lead, it doesn't mean you make all the decisions. Can y'all imagine if I made every single decision up in this church? It would be impossible. I cannot make every decision. I cannot do it. My job is not to make every job is to lead Sold Out Church under Christ's authority with Him as the head. I lead the church. That means I set the tone, establish the values, plot the direction. But I can't make every decision. It takes you guys to come alongside and make decisions in your respective ministries so that we can fulfill the vision that God has placed upon our hearts. I can't be a dictator. Be a leader. Make every decision as a dictator. Man, in your marriage, don't be a dictator. Be a leader. Common vision that Amy and I have, we've had since the very beginning. Amy and I knew that we wanted to live Christ-centered lives. Amy and I knew that we wanted to be as generous as we possibly could. We've always been as generous as we possibly could. Amy and I knew that we wanted to raise godly children. Amy and I knew that we wanted to serve Jesus. That's a common vision that we are in together. That is our life. That is what we seek above all else. When we accomplish those things, we can say, man, even though things sometimes did not go the way that we planned, as long as we have Christ in our lives and we are generous, we serve the church with everything we have, we can look back at our lives on our deathbed and say, two lives joined together, and everything we do is to fulfill those purposes in our lives. Amy and I weren't in agreement on that. If we had two visions, that would be division. A house divided cannot stand. So we've joined together as one with a common goal and purpose, seeking to accomplish these things with me as the head, her submitting to me, but me submitting to God. Do it all together. Let me tell you, have to learn to do that. Now, I know that some of you might think, well, I'm sure it's easy for y'all, Pastor Derek. It's just got to be so easy for you as a pastor because, God just makes your life just so easy. Everything is just perfect in your life. If you believe that today, you are naive. It is not easy because I'm a pastor. I promise you. I know you got some hectic schedules up in here. I promise you, mine and hers is just as hectic. I promise our schedules are just as hectic. I know that some of you feel Satan's attacks coming at you all the time. Satan is always trying to get up your backside, trying to put a foot in you. I swear to you, no, I don't swear because I'm not supposed to swear. I'm going to let my yes be my yes and my no be my no. Yes! Satan comes up against us constantly. I know you think that, well, y'all would have it all figured out in your home. I mean, of course you can live Christ-centered lives, and of course you can be generous, and of course you can have godly children, and of course you can serve the church with everything you have, because y'all are just amazing. We are sinners just like you, I promise you. We need Jesus just as much. It is not easy for us. And let me tell you right now, mine and Amy's marriage is not being restored because I'm a pastor. Our marriage is being restored because we are working on it. That's why we are working at it. And you got to work at it. You got to work at this partnership. You have to work hard for this partnership. You've got to work hard at it in your marriage. Work hard at it. Marriage will be just. Marriage will be as good as you decide. If you're saying, well, sometimes though I just don't feel like being nice. I don't feel like forgiving him. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like working at my marriage. Don't let your feelings dictate your life. I mean, how many other areas of your life can you make that excuse? You're not going to do it simply because you don't feel like it. Imagine if when Caden was just a newborn baby, if Skipper would be like, I don't feel like feeding the boy. Well, he wouldn't be here today. It doesn't matter how you feel. Imagine, I don't feel like working anymore. Good luck living at the homeless shelter. I don't feel like paying taxes. I don't feel like going to prison don't let it do it. Sometimes, man, you just got to get over your feelings because marriage is not measured by your feelings. It's measured by commitment. Are you committed? You have that commitment because it's a covenant, and you know that Jesus gave his life for you, and he has said that you and your spouse, two, are to become one, joined together. Are you committed to your marriage no matter what? It doesn't matter. I know there's struggles in here. Some of you might say, I'm not happy. I'll be with them because I've fallen out of love. I think I should get a divorce because I don't feel like I love them anymore. Driving down the road, driving down the road in your car or on your motorcycle, you run out of gas. You're going to sell your vehicle just because you ran out of gas. That would be preposterous, wouldn't it? And why in the world do we sell our marriages? Why do we do it just because we don't feel any love anymore? Listen, just like in your vehicle, you would get some gas and you would fill it up. If you don't feel love in your marriage, then you need to fill it up. Go back and do the things you did at first, and your attitude will follow your actions. It will happen. You have to be committed no matter what, even when you don't feel it. Even when you don't feel it. Don't stand united one time. So whatever it takes in your marriage. Really what it's about in this partnership. Whatever it takes. Fight for it. Everything you have, whatever it takes. Because just like it said on the video, at the end of the video today, fight for it. You know why? Whether we know it or not. Know that we for all of you to bow your heads and close your eyes. Again, this is something today that means so much. If in your marriage, if you've been in a place where I don't know if I can keep going on, hey, through the Word of God, you're reminded you have to get counseling if you need counseling. Get in God's Word. Do the Love Dare Bible study that's coming up. Do things together. Live your life together. Because you can't end it just because they're not making you happy. God has joined you together. And if today you're saying, you know what? I hear that. I want that. I want a fulfilled marriage where two lives are truly one. And I will fight for it with everything I have. Or if you're not married today, but you've heard the word of God spoken, and you one day want to have that type of marriage, nothing can come between it. You want me to just pray over you right now. It's a beautiful thing. You put your hands down, it's a beautiful thing for me. God, I thank you so much for what you've done. Thank you for the work on the cross. Forgive us of our shortcomings, our failures, our sin. We make so many mistakes. Today, God, it is not made mistakes in our marriages. We've sinned against our spouses and you, God. And we ask that you would forgive us, that you would restore us, and that we would be on the track that makes you smile and say, my babies are one. God, we commit to honoring our covenant of marriage. We will give it everything we have, 100%. It's not hers and mine. It is not about me. It is about we. And Lord, we commit to that. And for those that are not married, we commit to one day longing, or one day having, we long to have marriages that are we marriages. We will say us, us, us. We will never say me or they. We will say us. I pray that every marriage and future marriage in this room will have your hand and favor and blessing upon it as we truly live lives of godly leadership and mutual submission. Today in this room, man, after watching Passion of Christ, having talked to the people that went to Dallas and them reminding me of my love for people, I just want to tell you all right now, I love you. I love you.
Love you too, Derek.
There's not a person in this room that I don't love. Some of you I know better than others, but man, I love you. I love you so much. And because I love you, I need to take the opportunity to tell you right now about the greatest love of all time. That is the love that I shared about the Passion of Christ, Jesus. Why did Jesus go to the cross? Because of what I was talking about in our marriages, the mistakes we've made. All of us have sinned. And when we sin, all sin, even if we sin against somebody else, all sin is sin against God. And sin is disobedience to God, and every one of us has disobeyed God. So Jesus, loving us more than he loved life, he came from heaven. He walked on earth as a man who never had sin. He healed people. He loved people. And then he laid down his life. He laid down his life for us. And why did he do that? Because the Bible tells us that our God is holy and just, and sin has to be paid for. It has to be paid for. There was no blood that could cover all sin except for the holy blood of God in the Son of Jesus. So Jesus went to the cross and his life was sacrificed. When he paid for our sins, there was an exchange made on the cross, and that exchange was he took our sin from us and he gave us his righteousness. With that comes forgiveness of sin. With that comes the Holy Spirit that will indwell us and live in us and guide us along God's path for our life, that will give us power to overcome. Not just the precious gift of forgiveness and the wonderful gift of the Holy Spirit, also the promise of eternal life. How do we know that we have eternal life? See, when Jesus died, he didn't stay dead. Death has been defeated because Jesus did rise from the grave. He has conquered death, and sin has no victory in our lives anymore. God has killed it. We can have victory in Christ. We can have salvation in Christ. So you're saying, how do I receive that? What must I do? It's so easy. It's so simple. The Bible says, confess with your mouth. Believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord, and you will be saved. Derek, how's he Lord? Because Jesus has always been Lord. He rose from the grave. Later on, 40 days later, he ascended to heaven. For today, he rules eternally as Lord and King. And one day, he will come back to claim his children that will be his population. Coming back for us. He's coming back for us for all time. So if today you've never surrendered your life to Jesus Christ, but you want to today, you want the greatest blessing of all time. If today you want to truly begin seeking the one, you want forgiveness of your sins, and you want to know that you have the promise of eternal life, not because of anything you've done, simply because of what Jesus did. With every head bowed, with every eye closed, if you've never given your life to Jesus, but today you want to because you believe that he gave his life for you and that he rose from the grave for forgiveness of your sins. Right now, can I see your hand? thing, and it says on it, Sold Out Church, questions, comments, and concerns. It's not an actual new thing. We've always had it, but we've always kept them in the comment box back there. Well, we want to be the best that we can be in everything. And we want to keep our hands on the pulse of this church. We want to know what's going on. And I know that we have spots on the connection cards for prayer and things like that. But I know that sometimes you may have something going on that you want to speak anonymously about. Something that you want to give some praise about, but you don't want people to know. Sometimes you have some prayer requests you don't want people to know. Sometimes you see something that needs fixed. Fill those out if you ever have questions, comments. Just drop them in that box. We're going to collect them, and we're going to be looking over them and praying over them and learning because we want to serve you. We want to serve each other as best as we possibly can. Now, I'm going to call the ushers up, and we're going to take up our tithes and offerings. And let me just share, when it comes to our tithes and offerings, sometimes I talk about the tithe, but what I really want to talk about today is about being generous. About just being generous. Jesus generously gave his life for us, and he's called us to lead lives of generosity. When we are selfish, then we're greedy. But when we're selfless, we're generous. And generosity breeds generosity. And the result of generosity is blessing in the lives of the giver and in the life of the one that's received. I know that sometimes we think that being generous means buying socks at Christmas and giving that to people in need. Oh yeah, that's generous. Absolutely that is. But the baseline of generosity starts with the tithe and generously giving back to God belongs to him since he is generously giving you everything. Now we want to live lives that are generous. That's even one of the things Amy and I had committed to. That's part of why we tithe. We tithe because we want to be generous, and we tithe because we want to be obedient. So we're going to take up our tithes and offerings. I want to pray over it. For those that are new, the connection cards that Pastor Tony mentioned at the beginning of service, this is an opportunity. You can drop that connection card in that box, or after service, you can go to the connections room right outside the door. I want to pray over our generosity today. Lord, help us to always be generous. Let it start with giving back what is yours. We thank you for all of our blessings. We thank you for the love you have for us. Lord, we thank you for the privilege we have to love one another, to serve one another. And Lord, we thank you that through our generous hearts, you will do mighty things in the lives of hurting people, that you will allow this church to continue reaching the least of these. Lord, and that you will help us in the mission you've placed upon our heart to see life change people that we reach. So Lord, bless what we generously give back to you today. And bless us that are generous. Bless us. Help us to fulfill everything you created us to do. In Jesus' name.
Wow, what a powerful message. Thank you, Pastor Derek, for that. I know that sometimes we wonder, what are the practical steps? What can I do to chase that marriage that Pastor Derek was talking about? Well, coming up after this series is over, next week is going to be the wrap-up week. We're actually starting a Love Dare Bible series. So you're going to come get some practical steps on how to really build. Can I get some applause for people who have actually been through that and actually felt some life change? See, these are people who have done it and have seen their marriages transformed. So get a part of that. Okay, we got a big event coming up. It is the Easter egg hunt that we give to the that we do every year for the community. And this is a free event, but when it's free to them, that means we got to come together and actually make it happen. So there's some ways for you to help. First off, we have these awesome crosses. By the way, did everybody have a good Valentine's Day? If I just surprised a husband that last week was Valentine's Day, you need to buy one of these. These are $10 a piece, and all of the proceeds are going to the Easter egg hunt. The amazing ladies of the church came together and put these together, and then all of the proceeds are going to go support the Easter egg hunt. And then if you're like, man, Pastor Tony, I don't have any money. I cannot afford a cross. I can't afford to buy a bag of candy. I get you. I've been there. We've also got an opportunity, if you just got a couple hours you can spare, to actually go and serve at Larry's Pizza, and then they've agreed to let us come over there, work for a little while, and then all of the tips are going to come directly to us to support the Easter egg hunt. So we can actually reach out to the community, let them know we're loved. We're not a church that looks inward, we're a church that looks outward. And we're actually trying to reach out to the people who need to know the love of Jesus Christ. So anything else y'all want to know about, check it out in the back of your announcement, in your worship guide. The announcements are all there. There's tons more in there that you need to know. So I'm just going to pray us out. Dear Lord, thank you so much for a pastor who's willing to just be vulnerable, to open himself up, to let us know what's going on in his life so that we can see where our lives can also be changed and transformed. I just pray for blessings on him. I'm going to pray for the congregation, the minds and the hearts of people either listening now or listening online who've just been affected or can be affected by these words. I just ask that we apply them. Show us how to apply them. Give us wisdom and guide our feet. I ask that you go with us throughout our week. Keep us safe as we travel wherever we need to travel. I ask for a hedge of protection and healing around people that are fighting the flu. And just be with us, Lord. Thank you so much for your grace and forgiveness. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Love y'all.